Good morning. I am with the beautiful Hannah Lowe, who is the founder of SuperWomen 360, which is all about awakening your inner heroine. So why SuperWomen 360, Hannah?
I heard this word used in regards to our menstrual cycles by this amazing woman called Lisa Lister. She's written this fantastic book just on menstrual cycles, and I loved her her theory around it. And at the time, just before writing this talk, I'd gone through my own sort of struggle and breakdown and just some really hard stuff.
Like
around,
everything, like the
everything.
whole meltdown and
Yeah,
wow.
To a point where I was asking myself, what the hell am I doing? I thought that I'd gotten to a certain point, and I had to really sort of reassess things. But it was basically around me still not expressing myself creatively and going out there and being courageous enough to be seen, and many other things. So when I got to that point, and when I began writing the outline of this talk, which was very soon after, I asked myself, or I realized, wow, this energy within me has the ability, it's that powerful, to destroy me or to transform me. And so as I was writing this outline and the word superpower came out, it just felt right within me. It felt really right that we as women, we have these qualities, we have this energy within us that is so powerful, it's so potent, that if we don't use it, it will destroy us and it will implode in us. And when we do use it, we have the ability to change our lives and the world around
It's
us.
transformative. And what I love about the word superpower is that it's so empowering. It just sounds so powerful and strong. And why 360?
Yeah, well, 360, that part is, when I began wanting to create this work for women, I realized in my own life that you cannot look at just one part of your life. You cannot just assess one part of your life in order to have wellness, health, fulfillment in all. In a sort of a wholesome 360 rounded kind of
Holistic.
way. Exactly. And so as I dug deeper and deeper, I honed in on these 4 areas that I feel, we all have to really look at and also focus on in order to have fulfillment and happiness and health and wealth in our life. And so if just one piece is out, we will feel it, either in our
Right.
careers, in our in money issues,
Absolutely right.
relationships.
I mean, it's really a 360 perspective, because if you just have one angle and your relationship is not working, it's going to affect your work, it's going to affect your sleep, it will affect your overall health. So that's why it's 360.
Yes. I just felt like I started doing one part and I couldn't continue just doing one part, because I was like, well, if they got to look at this and we've got to look at this and this and this, and so I that's why it's called 360. It's a 360 approach to womanhood.
Wow. And what does an empowered woman look like to you?
Well, an empowered woman looks like, and this is an overall thing, I think we all express it very uniquely, but at the crux of it, it's a woman who lives, from always going within, like looking within for the inner guru, looking within for her powers, for her strength, for the answers. Instead of we're so taught in this world to look outside, to buy things to feel better, to look for relationships to fulfill us, to look for money to make us feel secure, and it's a whole other subject in itself, but the amazing quality of feminine energy is that it draws you back in, that you must go within. It's an inward
Focused
journey,
yeah?
energy and journey, and so
and masculine energy is more of action and outward.
That's right.
And so as you're going inward, you're tapping into the wisdom of your instinct, your intuition.
Yeah.
And which
Absolutely.
is innate to women if
It
they
really
can just
is.
access it, right?
It is, and especially exactly what you said, your intuition, your wisdom, and your body. We have so much pain, we have so much judgment, so much shame around our bodies, and yet it's like it is so powerful and so miraculous, and so that again, I also feel very strongly that an empowered woman, she uses her body, as her compass and her guide in her life.
And when you say that, when you say using her body, it's embracing everything she has, inclusive of her flaws, but to also feel when something feels wrong internally. That's what you mean by using the body as a guide.
Yes, that's really it. It's exactly that. So we can feel, you can feel like when your body is getting tight, if somebody asks you to do something and suddenly you start to feel a little bit breathless, or you begin to do this, your body will not lie.
It's true.
It's the greatest
and
lie
you know
detector.
what? Stress is exactly like that, because the moment you're feeling stressed, you feel tight, you feel heavy, you feel overwhelmed, like you can't go through with it. So it's just paying attention to how the body feels.
Yeah, and for women, we have a really intimate relationship with our body. Men also can access their body wisdom, but women access this in a much different way, and we have a much more intimate connection with our bodies because we give birth to children. We've been created that way.
That's right. I mean, women are, for better or for worse, more in touch with the emotions.
Absolutely.
It's a generalization, but it's quite true.
It's true, and I've done research on it, and it's what I talk about in my workshops, that I actually have scientific research to back that up, which I think is important for people and for women especially these days.
Yeah. And your workshops, I know that you've done a lot of research on menstrual cycles. Why have you done that? Like honed in on that. I find that fascinating.
Well, sort of an interesting story about that is 4 or 5 years ago, no, maybe it's less than that. Maybe 3 years ago, I found myself in a sweat lodge. A sweat lodge is basically a Native American ceremony, but the sweat lodge itself is created from earth, and it's created to be like a womb, and you in the middle is a pit, and what the facilitator will do is he or she will put these hot stones, in the middle, and pour water of it, like a sauna. So you're basically going into this
But
womb.
it's very extreme, right? I mean,
It's very
the
extreme.
heat. And a lot of the natives do it naked, right?
Yes, that's right. And so I found myself in a sweat lodge, and they say it's a very spiritual experience, these ceremonies. All kinds of things can happen. Everybody's journey is different. So I was in this sweat lodge in Mexico, in Tulum, and I had this. I just had this few lines in my head, and it kept saying, these lines kept coming to me. Follow the cycles of the moon. You need to follow the cycles of the moon, and you need to teach women how to follow the cycles of the moon. Now, at the time, I knew nothing about this. I was like, what does this even mean? I thought, maybe I'm nuts. What's going on?
Wow, and it was such a strong message.
It was such a strong, clear message, and I'd known nothing about that before that point. And now 3 years later, the journey in between was, I went out to try and look for it, and I wasn't ready for the information. But 3 years later, and this is part of the heroine's journey, everything in divine timing. 3 years later, I find these books, and I'm led, to this information that I know is very sacred, and that a lot of women don't know about. It's most women don't know how powerful their menstrual cycles are. They don't know that they go on a journey, every single month, that is unique to them, but there's an overview of what that will look like for every woman. So every woman will go through this cycle, and there'll be the outward focused part of it, which is the masculine part, where we have the energy to do like a man. We have the energy to go out in the world and create, like a man with that same energy. And then the second part is when our bodies and this amazing sort of miraculous thing that happens within us draws us in, so we must rest, so we must focus inward. So
it's like a hibernation almost, like you need to retreat into yourself. And at what part of the cycle are we supposed to do that?
At the premenstrual stage. And every woman will, every time I've said this to a woman, she'll know it innately, because she knows there's that part of her that's calling her to slow down. And
the men, I'm sure, okay, if any men are watching this, will definitely relate that they don't even want to be around, okay, when, we're on PMS.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason for the moodiness or the mood swings. There's a reason for that suddenly everything is annoying us. It's not just, oh, we're being difficult. There is actually a reason. And I talk about this, and I get really, really in detail.
Into the different parts of the cycle.
Yeah, why it's happening. Yeah.
Amazing. And the fact that we're linked to the moon, I mean, wow, it's like Mother Nature connecting us, but so many of us have lost touch of this. And the sacred information that you speak about can make a woman get more in touch with herself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that the more we do that, the more empowered. The more empowered we become.
The more flow we have in our lives, yeah.
The more flow, and I think the more fulfilled we feel. I think we feel a lot more fulfilled, and that we have a purpose. We have something special, unique, and really needed to bring, and we tune into that.
Yeah, and everyone has unique and special gifts. Hannah, how do people, keep in touch with you? I mean, you're doing workshops, so how do we get more information about this?
Well, if you're listening to this video, it means you're probably tuned into my Facebook page, SuperWomen 360, so thank you for tuning in and watching this video there. That will be one of the places where I'll have all the information. I'll be just putting out everything that I'm doing in terms of where I'm contributing articles and writing, where I'll be doing workshops, where I'll be doing talks, events,
and you're
blogs.
Also putting together a website?
That's right, and then I'll also be creating a website, which will be called superwomen360.com. Very simple, very easy to remember, and it will be linked to this Facebook page, so you can find everything that you want on there. And really, the purpose of what I'm doing and what I'm creating is that I want to have a space or create many different places for women to feel supported. I think that's one of the things that I feel is still very missing in society, especially in Malaysia. I think that we could do with a lot more communities that create a healthy support system for women. So this sisterhood and community, I think, is one of the main reasons, for me to do all the different things that I'm doing.
Well, you've heard it from the beautiful Hannah Lowe, and I must say that, she's a very dear and very old friend, and she has gone on an incredible journey of absolute transformation, and her information is incredible. I mean, if you sit and you talk to Hannah, you would understand. And if you do want more information, please go to
www.superwomen360.com.
That's the one.